Hello. The BBC election uh, debate is so much more exciting than the ITV rubbish. Uh, Rena Pyoreth, the Welsh candidate there, um, brings up rather brilliantly that yesterday was a day of commemoration. It certainly wasn't a day for photo ops, as, for example, Mr. Farage's photo op. And Farage immediately comes in and says, well, no. Oh, I was raising money for veterans to be able to go to Normandy. Well, he was, I'm afraid Rena Pyoreth was absolutely right that it wasn't a day for photo ops. And the photo ops were for the veterans and for the world leaders meeting them and to celebrate our shared history, not an opportunity for bold electioneering and photo ops. And Rishi Sunak, the excoriation of Rishi Sunak continues. Penny Mordaunt again pointing out she doesn't want to make an issue about this, but she has no choice. She thinks absolutely that what Rishi did was wrong. And Stephen Flynn, who's somebody I like enormously, again makes it very clear that Rishi Sunak's approach was wrong, and that he's more interested in his own political survival than he is in representing our country. Absolutely. And no amount of apologies are going to erase that fact and that failure. Mr. Sunak has failed the test, the acid test. He has failed. He never deserves to have high office again, and he deserves to slink into a corner and maybe raise charity for the rest of his life. He can go off to America and work in some big financial empire. It doesn't matter. I think he has disgraced the country. I think he has disgraced himself. And he does not deserve to win. And I would hope that there are more Conservative MPs and candidates who will stand up and say exactly that and make it very clear that that he is wrong, as Penny Mordaunt is prepared to do. Penny Mordaunt has found a formula to stand up for the Conservative Party while at the same time very boldly criticising the Prime Minister and the leader of her party. Very boldly. She has no choice. What he did was disgraceful. And I think every single one of those 7 candidates would say the same thing. And it's not because they're electioneering, it's because they share, as I do, that sense of shock and shame that our Prime Minister, the person who is still doing a job, even though there's an election on, who is still doing a job, who is still leading the country, if there were an attack on our country, that Prime Minister would be the one who would be expected to lead a response. He couldn't lead his way out of number 10, let alone manage a national emergency. This is not a man who can be trusted again with serious high office. And I think there's a number of people in the present Conservative cabinet who never need to have office again. It's shameful and shocking, and they're not alone. There are people in Reform who I would say the same thing about as well. People who think that when they are elected to Parliament, who are given this special honour of representing us, that they can go off and moonlight on a television channel, and that in some way is the right thing for them to do. They are wrong, absolutely wrong, and they must never be elected to political office again because they don't have the responsibility to hold that office.